Before we dive into today's episode, I want to let you know that I am redoing my Understanding Your Child and Teens Behavior mini course. I am so freaking excited. Understanding your child's behavior is a passion of mine. It's something that I discovered early on in my mothering and something that I began to be noticed for in my social work career. Is truly seeing and understanding children's behavior on a deeper emotional level without reacting to it. There are so many parenting books out there, and where I find myself is in this sweet spot of being in it with my 3 boys who are now 17, 13, and 10. So if you're interested in joining us for Understanding Your Child's Behavior, head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/parenting. This is not just about you managing your own big emotions or seeing and understanding your child's behavior. This is about the action and practicality. Parenting is a lifelong relationship. There are no quick fixes. There are no 6-step strategies to whatever, all your problems going away. This is really about understanding emotional behavior on a deeper level. Because I truly believe when you become empowered and understand what is truly going on in your child's brain and also their emotional well-being, you can show up with more confidence to know exactly what to do, how to manage your own expectations and also manage the expectations that we inevitably project onto our children. So if you're a parent who buys all the parenting books, you read it all, but you're interested in what those tips or strategies that you can actually implement in your life, I have broken this down into a 5-part mini series and some additional bonus content where not only you can learn to manage your big emotions and be present for your children, but you will also understand what is going on in your child's world. We don't need to do the work for our children. We need to understand that they are their own human, having their own human experience. And we are having our own human experience. And parenting is the co-creation and a relationship. Whether it's anxiety, ADD, ADHD, beyond all of this, your child is a soul having a human experience, and they are worthy of being seen, heard, and understood. And so are you. So if you're interested, head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/parenting and check out the Understanding Your Child and Teens Behavior mini course. Have you ever sat down and maybe actually did one of my journal prompts? Maybe you sat down with a pen and paper and said, wouldn't it be nice if? And you gave yourself permission to dream. And there may have been things on there like, wouldn't it be nice if I could quit my job? Or wouldn't it be nice if my business grew? Or wouldn't it be nice if I had more time with my kids? Wouldn't it be nice if I stopped yelling? Wouldn't it be nice if my marriage was stronger? Wouldn't it be nice if I had more confidence? And then you sit back and maybe there's a little bit of fear, a little bit of doubt, and a whole hell of a lot of overwhelm that washes over you. Today, I am excited to share with you some live coaching that I did with a current client, Mallory. And Mallory is somebody who I deeply admire for her consistency of showing up courageously. This work is not always comfortable. And she continuously raises her hand and says, I'm struggling. I'm challenged. How do I get out of this? What do I do? And we can talk about brain science. We can talk about overwhelm. We can talk about perfectionism. But there's like the real world practicality of escaping the perfectionism loop in our mind. And you could read a book on it, but it's how you show up on the daily that really influences how you feel. So at the end of the day, we all want confidence. And at the end of the day, we want to feel good, right? Like we know this. But what do we do when we feel like a martyr? When the thought of actually considering our needs makes us feel sick to our stomach, that it feels incredibly selfish and guilt and shame just wash over your body with even the slightest idea of considering your needs, just for 10 minutes. That it's easier to cook and to clean and to give to everybody else, but considering your needs for just 10 minutes, how incredibly overwhelming that can be to our brain and our body. So today, Mallory and I talk about mental resistance, how it shows up, and the trap of perfectionism. I briefly talk about my 10-minute habit rule and how we can slowly get out of this state of overwhelm. And I talk about the never enough guilt, right? Am I doing enough? Am I mothering enough? Am I parenting enough? I need to try harder. That secret hustle culture that shows up in mothering as well. And I want, as Mallory tells her story, I want you to watch the through line of what I call breadcrumbs, or the evidence to actually solve her problem. And you're going to hear it towards the beginning when she talks about her journey as an athlete, as a child, and what her friends have said to her after she became a mother. So I want you to listen to that, because that's a key indicator of the quote unquote secret that everybody is looking for. It's actually difficult to feel good when we have been taught that giving to everybody else and giving nothing to ourselves is what makes us good. And the second you try to challenge that definition logically, you may know it logically, but your body doesn't know it yet, and it reacts, and your nervous system goes into fight or flight. So I truly believe that there is a mountain that we are all climbing. It's an invisible mountain. The mountain is through the stories we tell ourselves of why we can't do something. It's the stories that our own mothers have told themselves why they couldn't do something. It's the stories of what our grandmothers said they were not capable of achieving, and great, and great, and great, and great. It's also the cultural stories, probably stories that I'm not even aware of from different cultures and ethnicities. And also systems and expectations. Every single day as women, we have to climb a mountain of invisible expectations and pressures. Some of those we consciously put on ourselves, but that's only a small percentage. The subconscious stress that we put on ourselves as women and mothers is enormous. So every day when we wake up and we choose ourselves just for a moment, whether that's through a boundary or a small walk or a healthy meal or a glass of water, we're taking one tiny, tiny step on this invisible mountain. And so today, again, as you're listening to me coach Mallory, I want you to see yourself in her and the courage that it takes to say, I'm ready for change. So let's dive in. All right, Mallory, welcome.
Thank you.
Are you excited shitless?
Yes, I was like super excited. And then I hit like get on the call. And then I started feeling like nauseous and crazy.
And I think that's a really good end to the conversation we're going to have today. So we're doing some live coaching today. You have been in the mastery program for a few months now, and you came in knowing that you had a lot of resistance and a lot of, you have dreams, you have desires, like, what you want, maybe not to a T, but you have a clear vision for where you want to head. And the second we start taking action, all of our shit comes up. And then our brain uses its coping strategies to keep us safe. And what I love about you, and I'm just going to say this publicly, what I really honor and respect about you is your willingness to just show up again and again, even though it feels very chaotic and overwhelming, like general life, but life just keeps hitting you over and over again. So you're a perfect example of perseverance and resilience to keep going.
Thank you.
So what are we talking about today? What did you want to do some live coaching on?
We are talking about finding my confidence.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, in life, in motherhood, in business, I guess, but what it comes down to is in myself.
Awesome. Yeah. A lot of people ask, how do I gain confidence? And so I'll talk about that in a second, but tell me how you don't have confidence. So what's showing up for you? If you could paint a picture for us.
Sure. So this is funny because we just went over this in the emotional freedom call. So growing up from like age 3 till college, I was an athlete. That was my thing. I was really good at sports. That's what I thrived on. That's what, how my dad and I connect. Well, that was my dad inside thing. Sports was me. I was known as sports. And that's, I think, where I truly felt confident. And even like when I wasn't playing sports, like in the school aspect, I was not confident. I was kind of like socially awkward. And then after sports was done, college was over, got my first job in the real world and was like, oh my gosh, I'm not very confident as a teacher. Like, cause I like literally had other people who were counting on me. And I was like, what if I'm not good enough? I'm going to fail these kids, blah, blah, blah. And then motherhood happened. And that's something that I've always wanted my whole life. I knew I was going to be a mother. But I think I always had this picture of motherhood as martyrdom, like kind of how I was raised and how I was taught. So I was never like that. Plus I was never going to be good enough as a mom. And somehow, somewhere I flipped this script that my 18 plus years of playing sports and being successful in sports and putting in the work to be really good at sports, it didn't matter. Sports doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Now I'm a mom. And this is what really matters, is creating these tiny little humans and making them good, big humans. And I just almost am now like 18 years of my life didn't matter. And since then, in motherhood, in my jobs, in my current business, I haven't found that success that I felt when I was on the court, when I was on the field. And, I'm just wondering what happened and why is it so hard to get it back?
Okay. First, I just want to say I love this conversation. You've heard me say this many, many times that I actually don't identify as an athlete. But when people look at how I live my life like an athlete. Mm-hmm. And I mother like that. I do work like that. And it's just fascinating, the stories we tell ourselves and the identity. So 1, you're not alone, right? I flipped the script. 2, it's almost like you have to find that inner athlete again, like bring her to life. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper, but what is coming up for me already is how we tell ourselves a story You probably hear my son in the background too. I told him not to talk, but he's going to make noise. And I'm not editing this out. This is real life.
Yep.
I'm like,
I feel it.
Quiet, I'm recording. And then they don't. You just got to go with the flow, right? You got to pivot as life takes it.
Exactly.
So I don't even remember what I was saying, but it's like finding your inner athlete. But here's where I think the mind games come in. It's the motherhood piece. Because can you be an athlete and a mother at the same time? Right? And because culturally, that is not the conversation that we have been taught. It's give, 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 give. And then when we do that, we lose ourselves. We lose our identity. And it sounds like your identity started to slip a little bit before motherhood. And then motherhood just kind of like crashed and burned, like the identity piece.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we're doing this, it's so fascinating to me because I talk to so many women that are like, I don't even know who I am anymore. And along the way, we've been taught to not be ourselves. Like, do not be yourself. You're a mother now. So give, give, give. But when we want to feel enough, when we want to find the confidence, what we actually have to do is become ourselves again.
Yeah.
So what does this bring up for you?
I totally agree. Yeah, I just this weekend I was like out with some friends and they're like, "Where's Mal? Like, what happened to her?" And I'm like, "They're like, we don't ever see you without your children anymore. They're like attached to your hip. I don't work out anymore. Really, I don't. I can't tell you the last time I played a sport. It's just it's bringing up all this stuff that, and I don't know, for some reason it's bringing up like this. I wonder if this was like some kind of like sports was like this emotional release for me, whereas now like my emotional release is like getting angry at the people I really love. And I don't know why that just randomly came up in my head, but that's kind of what came up.
Yeah, because we have nowhere for it to go, right? So when it's in us and we're not releasing that or managing that energy, it just comes up and out, and then we project it onto other people. I used to say all the time, people are like, how do I get my kids to listen to me? And it's like, well, are you listening to yourself? And of course, there they are, which is totally fine. Which is totally fine.
I couldn't find my good headphones.
It's totally fine. As long as they don't need you.
No. She's just sticking her head through a pane in the window.
I love it. Okay, so let's go back to this, to you, all the feels that are coming up. When you think about motherhood, what's the first word that comes up?
Martyrdom.
Okay. So let's go to that part of yourself. So we're going to call it martyrdom, which it's such a tongue twister, that word.
Yeah.
Many people can identify with it. So I want you to close your eyes, and we're going to do it with the kids around. We're going to do it with the noise.
Yep.
This is real life, and we can't cultivate and create lives that we want. We can't just run away from our family. So we're going to create it with them. So eyes closed, and I want you to go to that place within yourself, Mallory, that martyrdom. Where is it? How do you know it's there?
It's like right now, like sitting in the pit of my stomach. Okay.
So I want you to bring your energy and attention to the pit of your stomach, and we're going to ask. We're calling it martyrdom, and I'm so proud of myself for saying the word over and over again. We're going to ask it, why are you here, and what's the first response?
To teach me a lesson. That's what comes up.
Okay. And now we're going to ask it, what do you need from me to feel safe to leave my body?
It keeps coming up. Surrender.
Okay. All right. I want you to open your eyes. And if we had more time, we would definitely dive deeper. But your body, your emotions are literally saying, I'm here to teach you a lesson, and I need you to surrender. When you think about surrender, what do you think about?
So what was just coming up is that So after my third baby, I quit my job because they weren't allowing me the flexibility that I craved to have with my children.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to have an income to provide to my family. My words are not coming. So I created this business, but I am also working a side business. So it's like, I feel like I quit this job to create this time freedom, this flexibility for my children to spend with my children. And I'm not doing that because I'm feeling like I'm stuck in like hustle, 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 do more, do more, do more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like I've created the opposite of why I left my job.
Yeah. And then I'm assuming, how does that make you feel?
Guilty,
Mm-hmm.
and not successful.
And not confident, for sure.
Yes, and not confident.
Yeah. So we could go on and on and on forever on this topic. But to sum it up, your desire is confidence. Your desire is to start your own thing. Your desire is to have time freedom, and I'm assuming financial freedom.
Yeah.
Everybody comes in with different desires. It might just be the relationship with their children, themselves, whatever. And then your shit comes up, right? Everything, relationship stuff, disconnect. But at the core of everything, you want to embody the energy of confidence. So on a daily basis, what are you doing that makes you feel confident? Long pause.
Long pause. I would say sometimes in my current job, if I'm working with the right patient, I feel very confident in my abilities to help.
That requires another person in order for you to feel confident.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to ask you this question. When did you feel most confident in your life?
When I was playing sports. Mm-hmm.
The point here is you felt most confident in your being, in your life, when you were playing sports. So beyond the business, beyond the children, beyond the marriage, beyond the relationships, if you want to embody the energy of confidence, you have to get back to your essence. And that needs to be your number one priority. So when I talk about energetic time management and putting that on your calendar, you have to ask yourself, okay, I'm not going to go, I don't have time, or you're going to tell yourself that because you're going to have so much resistance. I don't have time to join a team or do whatever. But what can you do for 10 minutes a day that is in alignment with that athlete version of you? What would that answer be for you right now? So simple.
Doing my kettlebell work. I mean, I can just pick up a kettlebell and do 10 squats. Mm-hmm. Or 10 swings.
Yep. And so doing that for 10 minutes a day.
Yes.
When's the last time you did that?
Maybe 2 weeks ago. One day I did it.
And how did you feel that one day?
Accomplished.
Awesome. So from this simple exercise, of course, we can go deeper and deeper, but when we get so overwhelmed and we're so fixated on this all or nothing or this vision that we have for ourselves, and we have all these other things, you can't just throw them away. You have to start with something small. So it's like a daily kettlebell workout for 10 minutes. And then once you've gained momentum there, you're starting to feel accomplished, not just once, but every day. And the compound effect starts. And then that's literally the clouds are going to part and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, now something else is going to drop in and you can add something else that's 10 minutes. Or you just start, I don't know, you actually take a shower, you start caring about what you look like. And the confidence starts to come because the repetition is there. So it's not necessarily that now you want to be a kettlebell teacher or like a fitness instructor, but you are like, when did I feel confident? And you start to embody that energy, and that's going to wear off at work. And then all of a sudden your brain is going to have little moments of space, or you're going to be dealing with a tantrum and you're going to have the capacity to handle it in a more confident way. What's coming up for you now?
A lot of excuses that I'm going to have to work myself through.
What are your excuses going to be? And this is 10 minutes a day. That's all you're committing to right now.
Yeah. Well, so I guess I'm thinking, of incorporating it into my morning routine, but then I'm like, then I'm going to have to shower before I go out to see my patients. And then I'm going to have to wake up at 6 o'clock. So I make sure the kids aren't up and the baby's not up. And then I'm going to have space to do it because my house has no space.
Don't you love mental resistance?
Oh gosh. Yes.
You could do it while your kids are yelling around you.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be in the morning, especially to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to start getting flexible.
Okay. And the magic, what do you notice about your resistance in general?
Well, lately, it's been a little bit less than typical, but when I come to these real acute situations of stress, like our moldy house, it really boils over. That's when anything and all strategies goodbye out the window.
Yep.
And then I think when I get in that all or nothing mindset, I got to do it all today and be done, or why do it?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the all or nothing is the killer of joy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also very self-abusive. I've noticed I used to do that a lot. And then I had to go through this mental cycle of realizing that I could do less better. And then I could only show up 60 to 70%. And that I saw progress when I was consistent at that level. So then that would trigger my perfectionism. It's a mind game working through resistance.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's what gets into me too, is this perfectionism, I got to do it all and do it all right, the right way.
Yeah.
And then I get stuck in that freeze, inaction, avoid, go vacuum my house instead of do work.
Vacuum your house for 10 minutes when you could be doing the kettlebell workout.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then it becomes this game of for me, because I have a lot of resistance around working out. It's not even about the workout for me. It's about the act of doing the workout for the mental challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So it has nothing to do with the physical. You're like, if I want to get to my bigger vision, right? I want to become, I don't know, I want to leave my job. I want to start my business. I want to feel more connected with my family. I want to stop yelling. This kettlebell workout is way more than just the workout. It's not about doing a workout. It's so much more. Can you see that?
Yes.
So what's your why? What is going to keep you going when your excuses come up?
Ooh. Overall, I guess my why in my business and, joining your community is I really challenge the status quo so that moms thrive and families can thrive. And I guess, with me, I'm learning that starts with me. I have to thrive so that my family thrives. And then eventually in my business, I can help other moms thrive and have this ripple effect.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned to you, I am learning to put myself first. And even just saying that feels really wrong coming out. So that, my kids, I can't teach my kids the skills that I don't have as hard as I try. As much as I say it, my oldest has taught me like, yeah, right, mom, I just vibe off your energy. And if it's not that confident, whatever kind of energy, then she's not having it.
I love it. And I can so feel you on that, because every day I just want to tell and not do.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I realize, the easier my life gets when I'm actually preaching, when I'm teaching. Or when I'm practicing what I preach. I'm like, what? Huh? When I'm practicing what I preach. Because your kids are little lie detectors. They will smell it and they'll call you out on it, whether it's through their energy or their words. And we can't do that in the real world either. Like, yes, there are people that get away with it, but I cannot have empathy with you and go, oh my gosh, I understand how difficult this is. I know how resistance will just take hold. I feel that in my bones because a part of me is right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Mallory, where can people find you online? Can they find you on Instagram or anything?
They can. Yes, I do have an Instagram. I'm probably most active on Facebook now, but I do have a love of Reels. So I'm thinking of getting back in with Reels. But I am at Mom Strong OT on Facebook and on Instagram.
Perfect.
So, yes.
We'll put your details below. And I'm just saying this because we're recording, because I'm going to be following up with you. So what is the thing what's your micro habit you're going to commit to?
10 minutes of kettlebells.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to send that to your mentor now.
Okay. Good, because that's our theme. Like, what am I avoiding? Oh, not kettlebells.
You're like, damn it. Yeah. Thank you, Mallory.
Thank you.
You get secretly creeped out, mildly terrified of the possibility. Imagine this: jumping into and hanging out in 3-degree Fahrenheit water. Why not? Well, I started doing this for shits and giggles. Yes, I started a deliberate practice of cold plunging on a daily basis, or cold therapy, or whatever the heck you want to call it. I have partnered with Culture, COLDTURE, and they delivered a cold plunge tub to my house. So I started doing this on a daily basis. And I said, if you want me to advertise your cold plunge tub, I have to actually use it myself, because I need to practice what I preach. And I'm going to give honest feedback. So you can definitely check out episode 998, where my husband and I talk about our cold plunging experience. But if you've been on the fence of purchasing your own cold plunge tub and you're ready to dive in, why not do that during the holiday season? So if you head on over to Culture, COLDTURE, and purchase a tub or one of their little filtration systems, you can use the promo code Heather, HEATHER, and get $600 off. You heard me right, $600 off. That goes until December 1st, 2022. And I believe if you use the promo code after December 1st, you can get $250 off. Cold plunging has been an absolute mental game changer. I am not kidding when I say that. It is so incredibly emotionally uncomfortable. I hate it every single time. And I'm so fucking proud of myself every time I get out, and I feel good all day. Culture, COLDTURE.com. Use the promo code Heather, $600 off. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Before December 1st.